Join the ride with this year's Highlighted Farmers to give you a look at what it's like inside the cab during this harvest season. It's the Cab Cam, brought to you by Hancock County Farm Bureau, MBT, Fox Auction Company, Billion Auto of Clear Lake, Mauser Insurance, and Sarasota County Farm Bureau. And now, let's head to the cab with me, Jay Brooks.
Another episode of the Cab Cam. We're inside this awesome truck. I got to give a plug out to Billion Auto of Clear Lake, billionauto.com. They gave me a Ford F-150, sweet looking truck. I mean, Brent Renner's with me now, and Brent, you got a chance to sit down in here.
Yeah. This is nice.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
You want me to tell them to write it up for you when I get back?
No, I don't.
No.
I cannot afford this right now, but this is a nice truck.
How about that? So we're out here today. We're actually seen some shots of the semi and the grain cart and combine running out there. So today you got semi duty.
I do. Yeah, I am trucking soybeans from field to farm today. So
the Renner Farm, you guys, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, my dad and my uncle have been doing this for 40 some years. And then if you plug in Grandpa, we're fourth generation. I'm fourth generation farmers. My great grandpa came up from Nebraska in the Dust Bowl days, the 20s, to try to get to a place that had more moisture than Nebraska did. So,
right.
Yeah, we've been here since then doing our thing. So
wow, and it's amazing. You guys all helping out each other, and of course you got kids yourself.
Yep.
Are they interested in carrying on the old farming tradition?
Don't know if that's 100% yet, but they're showing some interest. They do the 4-H stuff and Caleb's an FFA, and they actually have the day off today from school, so they are currently helping me clean out the next bin. We're gonna get this one loaded, and then when it's full, we go to the next one, and we raise seed beans for Syngenta, so they're pretty picky about any corn that would get in their beans. Obviously, they don't want to send corn in a bag out to the farmer the next year to plant it. So
right.
When they're planting on soybeans, so
yeah.
We make sure our bins are swept up completely clean. Every kernel of corn needs to be out of there. So that's what my kids are doing right now.
Did you? So over the years, you grew up obviously helping Dad farm.
Yep.
And did you ever get out of school just to come out and help in the harvest?
And I'm not going to say never. We tried to, my uncle was involved in the operation back then. We had a hired man. Not very often did I get out of school. If we were behind, I would try once in a while. But it's interesting. I don't know that I'm probably a little bit like my kids. I had an interest in farming back then, but it wasn't my passion or my desire at the time. I think, obviously, especially this time of year, direct conflict with football. I loved football. I didn't want to miss sports. So if you miss school, you miss sports and, all that stuff that goes along with it. So I didn't miss a ton of school. But, yeah, once in a while, especially, I think it depends on what kind of season we're having. And actually, we're in one right now where we're kind of behind. So I'll take all the help I can get to try to get caught up before I hope they're wrong, but are they talking snow Friday yet? So,
well, they're talking rain, snow, mix.
So, it'd be nice to be done with these soybeans before that happens.
Right.
So,
what if it does snow? For people that don't know, if it does snow on these beans while you set them in the field, how does that affect them?
Well, obviously we hope that it doesn't happen at all, but
right.
even if it does happen, my hope is that it would be light enough that it wouldn't affect it very severely. But moisture doesn't have to be snow. These beans have been through enough of that even previous to Friday. The pods start to swell, crack open. Beans just simply will fall on the ground eventually. Yeah. I don't think we're to that point yet. I hope we're not to that point yet. But we'll see what Friday brings and hope that doesn't happen. But,
corn, acts the same way?
No, corn's a little different. It can withstand a little bit more weather conditions. Those kernels, they don't pop out of a pod. They hang onto the ear pretty well. So we're not as worried about that. But with the weather, we have wind. So that will knock over corn and then make it hard to pick up and get through the combine. So there's always something.
Yeah.
Always something.
Yeah. Speaking of always something, I know you had a spot too. There was a big storm that came through. It was at Hamlintown, and Clemmy got nailed with some hail this year.
Yeah.
And I understand one of your fields was hit with that too.
Yeah, actually a couple of our farms were hit with hail pretty bad, and actually not as bad as closer to there's spots in Clemmy. I think you've probably seen them.
Yeah.
They're completely wiped out, gone. Yeah, completely shredded them down to nothing. Ours weren't that severely hit, but didn't make it any easier or fun. In fact, in some cases, I would have rather it wiped it out so that I didn't have to go deal with still harvesting a lower yield. Because along with that comes challenges. You and I talked a little bit about, setting the bean head to get pods that are, right next to the ground and avoiding rocks. And with corn, you got to have the internal mechanisms in the combine set just perfectly to harvest or thresh and ear corn that's maybe only that long and maybe only pollinated halfway around, or you got all kinds of different challenges you got to deal with when Mother Nature throws a monkey wrench at you like that. So.
Yeah. When you're talking about rocks in the ground, there's a thing called a sickle head, sickle bar.
Yep.
On a bean head, which goes right next to the ground. If you put a rock through it ain't like a corn head where it's a little
Correct.
bit. It's you gotta go through.
Corn's a little more forgiving in two ways.
Yeah.
You don't have a sickle, and plus you run that head several inches off the ground.
Right.
With soybeans, you got to run that cutter bar right at ground level, and you can break sickles, although that's not totally uncommon and not as big of a deal as if one of those rocks would physically get into the head and then go through the combine. Then you got all kinds of trouble. There's all kinds of things inside a combine that don't like rocks. So we try to avoid that if we can.
It's like having a kidney stone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah. Yes.
Well,
it's painful.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting
It's
at.
painful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brent Renner's in the cab with us, and we're talking about harvesting season 2017. And I know when you're not harvesting, you're also you're involved with Farm Bureau, things like that.
Yeah. I've been about as long as I can remember being home farming, involved in Farm Bureau in one way, shape, matter, or form, and still am, and happy to do it. And got a great group of guys on our Hancock County board. We're extremely active in our community and the fair, and as many things as we can to support and promote agriculture. You and I were just talking briefly about last week. Brenda Adams, our office assistant, came out to my farm and actually rode in the combine with me. That was one day I did get to combine, but only for this amount of time, about 40 minutes. And it was done live on like a Skype. or whatever, you name it. There's lots of different programs you can use and it was directly shot live to a group of, I believe, 3rd, maybe 4th graders at GHV in Garner. So I got to live explain to them as they were looking on their big screen, but through our iPad, kind of like what you got here, while I'm combining and telling them just all the things we were talking about, where the cutter bar is, where the reel is, and how the soybeans go through the machine, and what comes out and where they go and all that fun stuff. So it's a great opportunity to try to teach a generation now, probably 2 generations removed from the farm, explain to them where their food comes from, what we do out here, why we do it, and how we take care of the land, and all of that goes along with agriculture. So
yeah, because there's a lot more to it than just planting a seed in your garden.
Yeah,
and just sitting
and
waiting for. There's a lot more you got to put there. You got to make a couple runs up there.
That's an understatement. And it doesn't seem to get any simpler. It seems like when we get one thing figured out, there's 2 more things that pop up, whether it's a pest, a disease, or weather, or whatever.
So you're agronomist when they come out before you guys. How are we doing on the bean unloading?
Actually, it's about ready to run out, and I can pull ahead. You want to?
Is it? All right.
Recap, or do you want to watch me do this, or how do you want to do it?
Let's watch you do this. All right, so Brent, tell me what you were doing with the trailer.
Well, this particular semi-trailer has 2 hoppers on it, and they each hold approximately 500 bushel of soybeans. And the front one had just emptied out, so I pulled it ahead, and now we're emptying the back one to same bin. We aren't changing bins or anything. Just every truck you got to pull ahead to empty out front and back. So.
Now, when you see these trailers, truck and trailers going up and down the road, you bring this to the bin here at the farmyard. Well, what about what determines what comes here to the farm or goes to the elevator?
Well, a couple different things. Excuse me, I needed a beverage. So, in my case, with these soybeans, we raise seed beans for Syngenta, and that means they're going to get bagged and returned to farmers next year to plant in their fields. So I have a contract with them to raise these beans. We put them in a bin, and then they come and get them when they want to bag them in Belmont. That's where they're done, in Belmont, Iowa. So that's why I'm putting them in the bin. We can still market them similarly to what we would market if we took them to Ventura, 5-Star Co-op, or Max Yield, or wherever. So that would be one example of why we're putting it in a bin. Another example, if you have storage for either crop, soybeans or corn, A lot of people will store their crop with the expectation or hope that the price will increase in, say, February or whatever, when there's more demand. Mm-hmm. So rather than take it to an elevator and take what price they're getting, or pay them storage, because you can do that too. Right. So you got lots of options. Mm-hmm. And whoever's got the best crystal ball makes the right decision. Last year we were hoping to store every bushel and take advantage of better prices, and there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity to take advantage of a better price.
Right.
It's kind of been stagnant here for a year. So that's the other reason would be is not just on farm storage, but the capabilities of drying corn on farm.
Right.
Not everybody has a dryer.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, it's probably more economical for you to dry your own corn than take it to a co-op and pay them to do it.
Right. So a lot of factors in farming. A lot more than just running up and down the field in a planter and then taking it out in the combine.
Yeah. It is more than that. That is for sure.
It is a business. So, well, excellent. Well, Brent, I thank you for taking the time to let us ride along with you in the semi, and then taking the time to unload some beans and
you bet,
and explain a little bit about the agriculture business.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you. We love doing it.
All right, it's Brent Renner hanging out with us in the Ford F-150 from Billion Auto. You can always check that on. This is a nice looking rig, isn't it, again?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. They do good work at Ford.
He's
jealous.
liking it.
I'm jealous.
Well, we're going to go take it around and see if we can get it stuck.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not responsible.
Yeah.
That's all you. That's all you.
The test drive is going to happen.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Do it.
The Cab Cam, once again, thanks for joining and keep tuning in to 98.7KissCountry.com.